Roman Empire, at its peak, encompassed a vast territory across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. The empire's extensive reach presented significant logistical challenges in governance, communication, and military deployment. Effective infrastructure, including roads and aqueducts, was crucial for managing the empire's widespread domains. The diverse geography and cultures within the empire necessitated a complex administrative system. Maintaining control over such a large area required a powerful and well-organized military. The Roman Empire's vastness ultimately contributed to its eventual fragmentation and decline. Political instability arises from fluctuating power dynamics within a governing body. Corruption undermines governmental integrity and operational efficiency. Internal conflicts and infighting weaken the overall strength and stability of a government. The combination of corruption and infighting leads to governmental decline. Debasement of Roman currency involved reducing the precious metal content of coins, leading to inflation. Inflation caused by currency debasement eroded purchasing power and destabilized the Roman economy. The decreased value of Roman currency disrupted trade and commerce within the empire. Economic mismanagement exacerbated the problems caused by currency debasement, further weakening the Roman state. Maintaining a large army across extensive borders placed a significant strain on Roman resources. The vast geographical expanse of the Roman Empire necessitated a large and costly military presence. Military overstretch led to a depletion of manpower and economic instability within the Roman Empire. The cost of defending distant frontiers contributed to the eventual decline of the Roman Empire. Barbarian migrations exerted increasing pressure on the Roman frontiers. Multiple tribes were involved in the waves of migrations. Migration routes varied significantly across different tribes. The increasing frequency and intensity of migrations strained Roman defenses. The scale of barbarian migrations posed significant logistical and military challenges for the Roman Empire. These migrations ultimately contributed to the decline and fragmentation of the Roman Empire. Social decay is characterized by a decline in civic virtue and moral standards within a society. A growing disparity between the rich and poor contributes significantly to social unrest and instability. Social unrest manifests as increased crime rates and public disorder. The erosion of social cohesion weakens the overall stability and resilience of the society. Early Christianity experienced a period of persecution within the Roman Empire. Despite persecution, Christianity's influence gradually expanded throughout the empire. The role of Christianity transformed from a persecuted sect to a dominant religion. This transition marked a significant turning point in the history of the Roman Empire. The empire was divided into western and eastern halves for administrative efficiency. The division impacted resource allocation, creating disparities in economic strength between the two halves. Defense strategies differed significantly in the Western and Eastern empires due to geographical and geopolitical factors. The Western Roman Empire faced increasing pressure from barbarian invasions, straining its resources and defenses. The Eastern Roman Empire, later known as the Byzantine Empire, possessed greater stability and resilience. Ineffective leadership is characterized by a failure to address critical issues. Weak or corrupt emperors often contribute to ineffective governance. A lack of strong governance can lead to widespread societal problems. Critical issues that are not addressed can destabilize an empire. The failure to resolve key problems is a hallmark of ineffective leadership. Environmental degradation, including deforestation, impacts agricultural productivity. Deforestation leads to soil erosion, reducing the land's capacity to support agriculture. Reduced soil fertility due to erosion directly diminishes agricultural output. The loss of forests disrupts natural water cycles, affecting irrigation and water availability for crops. Deforestation contributes to climate change, creating unpredictable weather patterns that harm agriculture. Sustainable land management practices can mitigate the negative impacts of deforestation on agriculture. Roman aqueducts, while engineering marvels, posed a potential health risk due to lead pipes. Lead poisoning from aqueducts may have impacted the cognitive abilities of Roman citizens. Continuous exposure to lead in drinking water could lead to chronic health issues. The extent of lead poisoning's impact on Roman society is still a subject of historical debate. The use of lead in aqueducts highlights a trade-off between technological advancement and public health. Piracy and barbarian incursions disrupted established trade routes. Disruptions in trade led to a decline in the supply of goods and resources. Economic stagnation resulted from the reduced flow of commerce and resources. Increased piracy made sea trade routes dangerous and unreliable. Barbarian incursions on land further hampered the movement of goods. Economic dependence on slave labor stifled technological innovation in ancient Rome. The widespread use of slave labor hindered the development of free labor markets. Slave labor created a system where there was little incentive to improve efficiency through technology. The Roman plantation system relied heavily on manual labor, limiting economic diversification. Over-reliance on slave labor resulted in an imbalanced and ultimately unsustainable economic model. A decline in training and discipline weakened the Roman army's defensive capabilities. Reduced discipline led to less effective tactical execution on the battlefield. Erosion of discipline resulted in decreased unit cohesion and overall combat effectiveness. The weakening of military discipline made the Roman army more vulnerable to external threats. Lack of rigorous training contributed to a decline in the physical readiness of Roman soldiers. The decline in discipline within the Roman army directly impacted its ability to maintain order and control. The Roman Empire's failure to fully integrate conquered peoples led to widespread resentment. Cultural differences and suppression of local traditions fueled discontent among conquered populations. Economic exploitation and unequal distribution of resources exacerbated tensions within the empire. Rebellions and uprisings were a direct consequence of the empire's inability to address the grievances of its subjects. The lack of political representation and limited opportunities for advancement further alienated conquered populations. The deterioration of Roman infrastructure, including roads, negatively impacted communication efficiency. Decayed bridges within the Roman infrastructure network also hindered trade activities. The degradation of Roman roads and bridges led to a decline in the overall efficiency of trade routes. Poorly maintained infrastructure reduced the speed and reliability of transporting goods and messages. The decay of critical infrastructure components undermined the stability and prosperity of the Roman economy. Intellectual stagnation involves a decline in scientific and technological advancements. This decline contributes to a noticeable lack of innovation across various fields. Reduced investment in research and development is a primary driver of intellectual stagnation. Limited access to education and information further exacerbates the problem. The absence of new ideas and breakthroughs hinders progress and societal advancement. The Roman legal system suffered from corruption, undermining its integrity. Inefficiency within the Roman legal system led to significant delays in justice. Corruption and inefficiency resulted in widespread injustice within Roman society. The lack of fair legal processes contributed to social instability in Rome. Bribery and favoritism were common practices, distorting legal outcomes. The erosion of trust in the legal system weakened the foundations of Roman governance. Overcrowding in Roman cities led to unsanitary living conditions. Poor sanitation contributed significantly to the spread of disease. Substandard housing exacerbated the health risks faced by urban residents. Social unrest was fueled by the disparity between the wealthy and the impoverished. The combination of overcrowding, poor sanitation, and social inequality created a volatile urban environment. Rural exodus refers to the migration of people from rural areas to urban centers. This migration often leads to the decline of agricultural activities in rural regions. The abandonment of farmlands can result in decreased food production and economic instability in rural communities. Factors driving rural exodus include limited economic opportunities, inadequate infrastructure, and lack of access to services. Unsustainable taxation levels can lead to economic collapse. Excessive government debt contributes significantly to fiscal crises. High taxation can stifle economic activity by reducing disposable income and investment. Mounting government debt can lead to inflation and currency devaluation. The combination of high taxation and debt creates a negative feedback loop that accelerates economic decline. Economic collapse results in reduced government revenue, further exacerbating the fiscal crisis. The Roman Empire faced significant challenges due to excessive bureaucracy. Inefficient management of the empire's vast resources and territories resulted from bureaucratic overload. Complex hierarchical structures within the Roman administration contributed to delays and miscommunication. Red tape and lengthy procedures hindered decision-making processes within the Roman government. The sheer volume of paperwork overwhelmed the capacity of Roman administrators. Bureaucratic inefficiency ultimately weakened the empire's ability to respond to internal and external threats. The influx of diverse religious practices contributed to the weakening of Roman cultural identity. Cultural fragmentation arose as various religious and cultural traditions coexisted within the Roman Empire. The integration of foreign religious elements diluted traditional Roman values and beliefs. Diverse religious practices challenged the previously homogeneous cultural landscape of the Roman Empire. Erosion of trust in government and institutions leads to public apathy and cynicism. Decreased trust results in reduced civic engagement and participation in democratic processes. Cynicism fosters a sense of helplessness, discouraging citizens from seeking positive change. Loss of public trust undermines the legitimacy and effectiveness of governance. The Roman army increasingly relied on foreign mercenaries. This dependence gradually undermined the army's traditional loyalty. The effectiveness of the Roman army was compromised by the integration of mercenaries. Mercenaries often lacked the same dedication to Rome as native-born soldiers. The influx of foreign fighters altered the Roman army's composition and culture. Reduced loyalty and effectiveness contributed to the decline of Roman military power. The Roman military's rigid structure proved vulnerable to adaptable enemy strategies. Failure to evolve tactics led to critical defeats against unconventional warfare. The Roman military struggled to counter new weapons and technologies employed by adversaries. Inflexible command structures hindered rapid responses to changing battlefield conditions. Reliance on traditional formations made them predictable and susceptible to ambushes. Ignoring intelligence and reconnaissance resulted in strategic disadvantages and unexpected defeats. A decline in literacy rates impedes effective communication within a society. Reduced literacy hinders intellectual development and critical thinking skills. Lower literacy rates correlate with decreased access to information and educational resources. The inability to comprehend written material limits participation in civic and economic activities. Decreased literacy can lead to a cycle of limited opportunities and reduced social mobility. The erosion of traditional Roman family values is perceived to impact social cohesion. Traditional Roman family values emphasize concepts such as pietas, fides, and gravitas. A decline in pietas, or duty to family, gods, and state, weakened the social fabric. Diminished fides, or loyalty and trust, eroded relationships within the family and society. A reduction in gravitas, or seriousness of purpose, led to social instability and moral decay. Political assassinations can occur with varying frequency across different regimes and historical periods. Assassinations often lead to destabilization within governments and can trigger political instability. The targeted removal of key political figures can disrupt established power structures. Political assassinations can result in unpredictable shifts in policy and governance. The aftermath of assassinations often involves power struggles and increased security measures. Civil wars deplete resources, including financial assets and raw materials. Civil wars lead to a significant reduction in manpower due to casualties and displacement. The series of civil wars result in widespread economic instability and infrastructure damage. Protracted civil conflicts cause long-term societal fragmentation and political instability. Commodus's reign marked a period of decline in the quality of Roman leadership. His rule was characterized by extravagance and ineffectiveness, impacting the empire's stability. The emperor's indulgence symbolized a broader trend of weakening governance within the Roman Empire. Analysis of Commodus's reign provides insights into the factors contributing to the decline of the Roman Empire. The year of the Five Emperors was marked by significant political instability. This period highlights the vulnerabilities inherent in the imperial succession process. The rapid turnover of emperors reflects a crisis of legitimacy and power. Political chaos during this era undermined the stability of the empire. The year of the Five Emperors demonstrates the fragility of centralized authority. The crisis of the 3rd century involved multiple, simultaneous crises across the Roman Empire. Invasions strained the empire's borders, diverting resources and manpower. Civil wars erupted as rival generals vied for control, destabilizing the political landscape. Economic collapse further weakened the empire, leading to inflation and trade disruption. These concurrent crises severely impacted the empire's stability and long-term viability. Diocletian's reforms included dividing the Roman Empire to improve governance and stability. The Tetrarchy was established as part of Diocletian's reforms, creating a system of 4 rulers. The division aimed to streamline administration and address challenges in different regions of the vast empire. Diocletian's reforms sought to ensure more effective defense against external threats. The Tetrarchy was intended to provide a clear line of succession and prevent civil wars. Constantine's conversion marked a pivotal moment in the Roman Empire's religious history. Prior to Constantine, Christianity was a persecuted religion within the Roman Empire. Constantine's embrace of Christianity led to its gradual acceptance and eventual dominance. The Edict of Milan, issued by Constantine, granted religious tolerance throughout the empire. Constantine's conversion had significant political ramifications, altering the power dynamics within the empire. The adoption of Christianity as a favored religion reshaped Roman culture and societal norms. Theodosius's division marked the final formal split of the Roman Empire. This division resulted in the Western Roman Empire and the Eastern Roman Empire. The Western Roman Empire eventually collapsed, while the Eastern Roman Empire persisted for centuries. The division had profound and lasting consequences on the political landscape of Europe. Cultural and linguistic differences between the two halves contributed to their divergent paths. The Battle of Adrianople resulted in a significant military defeat for the Roman Empire. This defeat severely weakened the Roman Empire's military strength. The battle exposed critical vulnerabilities in Roman military tactics and strategy. Loss of experienced soldiers and commanders at Adrianople had long-term consequences for the empire. The defeat led to increased pressure on Roman borders and further internal instability. Adrianople marked a turning point in Roman military history, signaling a decline in its dominance. The Visigoth sack of Rome occurred in 410 AD. The sack of Rome symbolizes the vulnerability of the Roman Empire. The Visigoths were the invaders during the sack of Rome. The sack of Rome marked a significant turning point in the decline of the Western Roman Empire. The Visigoth invasion exposed the empire's weakened defenses and internal strife. The event highlighted the empire's vulnerability to external threats. Emperor Honorius's reign was marked by ineffective leadership and a failure to address critical issues. Honorius's inability to govern led to increased instability and vulnerability within the Roman Empire. The emperor's weak rule exacerbated existing problems, hastening the decline of Roman authority. The lack of decisive action by Honorius contributed to the empire's growing vulnerability to external threats. The Vandals initiated a significant conquest of North Africa. This conquest had a profound impact on the Roman grain supply. The Vandal invasion disrupted established trade routes and agricultural production. Control over North African territories allowed the Vandals to exert influence over Mediterranean trade. The Hunnish invasions, led by Attila, had a devastating impact on the empire. These invasions resulted in widespread destruction and displacement of populations. Attila's military campaigns significantly weakened the empire's infrastructure and stability. The Hunnish incursions contributed to the eventual decline and fragmentation of the empire. The Battle of the Catalonian Plains involved a military alliance between the Roman Empire and the Visigoths. This alliance was formed to counter the threat posed by the Hunnic Empire. The Roman-Visigoth alliance strategically combined their military strengths. The alliance aimed to defend Roman and Visigothic territories from Hunnic invasion. The battle's outcome had significant implications for the balance of power in late antiquity. The Catalonian Plains became a pivotal site for this clash of civilizations. The deposition of Romulus Augustulus in 476 AD traditionally marks the end of the Western Roman Empire. Romulus Augustulus's deposition symbolized the collapse of central authority in the Western Roman Empire. The year 476 AD represents a significant turning point in European history. The deposition signifies the transition from classical antiquity to the early Middle Ages in Europe. The Eastern Roman Empire continued as the Byzantine Empire. The Byzantine Empire inherited Roman traditions and governance. Strategic location and strong defenses contributed to the Byzantine Empire's survival. The Byzantine Empire developed a unique culture blending Roman, Greek, and Christian elements. The Byzantine Empire faced numerous external threats and internal challenges. Despite challenges, the Byzantine Empire preserved classical knowledge and influenced Eastern Europe. Roman law has profoundly influenced the legal systems of Western civilization. The Latin language, developed by the Romans, forms the basis for many modern European languages. Roman architecture's enduring influence is evident in numerous iconic structures throughout the West. Roman cultural practices and traditions have shaped Western social norms and customs. The concept of a republic, pioneered by the Romans, has served as a model for democratic governments. Roman engineering innovations such as aqueducts and roads revolutionized infrastructure development. The collapse of the Western Roman Empire led to the formation of numerous independent barbarian kingdoms. These kingdoms were established by various Germanic and other tribes migrating into the power vacuum. The emergence of these kingdoms marked a significant shift in political power and cultural landscape of Europe. Each kingdom developed its own distinct laws, customs, and governance structures, contributing to the diverse political map. The collapse of the Western Roman Empire led to significant disruption of established trade networks. Economic activity declined as trade routes became unsafe and unreliable. The disruption of trade caused a contraction in the overall economy of the region. The lack of safe passage and stable governance hindered long-distance trade. Local economies became more isolated and self-sufficient due to the decline in trade. The post-Roman world saw a significant blending of Roman and barbarian cultures. This cultural fusion resulted in new social structures and customs. The blending of legal systems led to the development of hybrid laws. Language also evolved through the integration of Latin and Germanic dialects. Germanic tribal migrations played a significant role in the decline of the Western Roman Empire. These migrations exerted pressure on the Roman Empire's borders, leading to conflicts and territorial losses. The influx of Germanic tribes altered the demographic and cultural landscape within the Roman Empire. Internal political instability within the Roman Empire weakened its ability to resist external pressures from Germanic tribes. The Germanic tribes established new kingdoms within former Roman territories, fundamentally reshaping the political map of Europe. The interaction between Roman and Germanic cultures resulted in the emergence of new cultural and legal systems. Climate change can significantly impact agricultural productivity, leading to reduced crop yields. Increased frequency and severity of droughts are a major consequence of climate change, threatening food security. Water scarcity due to drought can destabilize agricultural regions, affecting economic and social structures. Changes in precipitation patterns disrupt traditional farming practices and irrigation systems. The stability of agricultural regions is closely linked to predictable climate patterns and sufficient water resources. Plagues and epidemics significantly impacted the population of the Roman Empire. Disease outbreaks led to substantial economic disruption within the Roman Empire. The plague's rapid spread exacerbated existing social and political tensions. Reduced labor forces caused agricultural decline and food shortages. Trade networks collapsed, diminishing the flow of essential goods and resources. The Roman Empire faced long-term economic and demographic consequences due to recurring plagues. The decline of the Western Roman Empire led to the abandonment of many Roman cities. The collapse of central authority resulted in decreased maintenance and eventual decay of urban infrastructure. Economic instability contributed to decreased trade and population migration from urban centers. The absence of effective governance led to the neglect and abandonment of public buildings. Decreased agricultural productivity and supply chain disruptions exacerbated urban decline. The cumulative effect of these factors resulted in widespread urban decay and the eventual abandonment of Roman cities. Monasteries played a crucial role in preserving classical knowledge during the Dark Ages. Monks meticulously copied and preserved ancient texts, ensuring their survival through turbulent times. These efforts helped maintain a continuity of learning and intellectual tradition. Monasteries served as centers of education, fostering literacy and scholarship. Without the dedication of monastic communities, much of classical literature and science would have been lost. Feudalism emerged as a new social and political system in the post-Roman world. The feudal system was characterized by a hierarchical structure of reciprocal obligations. Land ownership was the foundation of the feudal system, with lords granting fiefs to vassals in exchange for military service. Vassals owed military service and loyalty to their lords, providing knights and soldiers in times of war. Peasants were bound to the land and provided labor and a portion of their harvest to the lord. Feudalism provided a framework for social order and governance in the absence of a strong central authority. Roman law has had a profound and lasting influence on the development of legal systems in Europe. Legal codes across Europe reflect principles and structures derived from Roman legal traditions. The systematization and codification of law are legacies of Roman legal methodology. Roman law provided a foundation for concepts such as property rights, contracts, and civil procedure in many European nations. Latin evolved into the Romance languages spoken across Europe. The Romance languages include Spanish, Portuguese, French, Italian, and Romanian. Language evolution involves gradual changes in pronunciation, grammar, and vocabulary over time. These changes are influenced by geographical separation, social factors, and contact with other languages. Latin's influence is still evident in modern vocabulary, grammar, and legal terminology. The survival of Latin demonstrates the enduring impact of historical languages on contemporary society. The Roman Empire left an enduring architectural legacy that continues to influence modern construction. Roman aqueducts exemplify advanced engineering, efficiently transporting water over long distances. Roman roads facilitated trade, communication, and military movement across the vast empire. Roman buildings such as the Colosseum and Pantheon demonstrate innovative use of materials and architectural techniques. The architectural principles of the Roman Empire continue to inspire and inform contemporary architectural design and construction methods. The Roman Empire's cultural legacy includes significant contributions to art, literature, and philosophy. Roman art is characterized by realistic sculptures, intricate mosaics, and grand architectural designs. Roman literature encompasses epic poetry, historical accounts, and philosophical treatises, influencing subsequent literary traditions. Roman philosophy, particularly Stoicism and Epicureanism, offered ethical frameworks that continue to resonate in modern thought. The enduring impact of Roman art, literature, and philosophy is evident in modern legal systems, languages, and political thought. Roman military innovations and strategies significantly influenced warfare for centuries. The Roman army's success was attributed to its advanced tactics and organizational structure. Roman military innovations included sophisticated siege warfare techniques and engineering. The Roman army utilized standardized training and equipment to ensure consistent performance. Roman military strategy emphasized adaptability and logistical efficiency. The fall of the Roman Empire provides valuable political lessons for contemporary governance. Good governance is crucial for maintaining stability and preventing societal collapse. Economic stability is essential to a nation's strength and resilience. Ignoring these lessons can lead to decline, mirroring the fate of the Roman Empire. Inflation impacts economic stability by reducing purchasing power and increasing the cost of goods and services. Taxation policies influence economic activity by affecting disposable income and investment incentives. Trade imbalances can lead to economic instability due to currency fluctuations and debt accumulation. These economic factors collectively contribute to the overall economic health and stability of a nation. Social stratification refers to the hierarchical arrangement of individuals and groups in societies. Rigid social hierarchies limit social mobility and reinforce existing inequalities. The growing gap between the wealthy elite and the impoverished masses is a key characteristic of social stratification. Social stratification impacts access to resources, opportunities, and social status. Slave labor formed a significant component of the Roman economy, particularly in agriculture and mining. The availability of slave labor influenced Roman social structures and economic development. Slavery provided a cheap and readily available workforce, impacting free labor and wage levels. The reliance on slave labor had both economic advantages and social consequences within Roman society. The imperial cult served as a key mechanism for legitimizing the emperor's rule. Emperor worship was a central component of the imperial cult, reinforcing the emperor's divine status. The imperial cult integrated religious and political power, strengthening the emperor's control. Through the imperial cult, the emperor was presented as a divine figure, deserving of absolute obedience. The imperial cult fostered unity and loyalty throughout the empire by focusing devotion on the emperor. Roman bureaucracy suffered from inefficiencies due to its complex structure and lack of standardized procedures. Red tape and excessive paperwork contributed to delays and hindered the decision-making process. Corruption was prevalent within the Roman bureaucracy, with bribery and embezzlement being common occurrences. Patronage and favoritism influenced appointments and promotions, often prioritizing personal connections over merit. The lack of accountability and oversight allowed corruption and inefficiency to persist unchecked. These systemic issues within the Roman bureaucracy ultimately weakened the empire's ability to govern effectively. Unsustainable military spending significantly impacted the Roman economy. Excessive allocation of resources to the military diverted funds from essential sectors such as agriculture and infrastructure. The constant need to finance military campaigns led to increased taxation and inflation, burdening the populace. Military expansion, while initially lucrative, eventually became a drain on the Roman treasury due to administrative and logistical costs. Barbarian cultures significantly influenced Roman military practices, particularly in cavalry and auxiliary units. The adoption of barbarian military techniques led to innovations in Roman armor and weaponry. Barbarian cultural practices, including clothing and social customs, were gradually integrated into Roman society. The influx of barbarian populations altered Roman demographics and social structures. Religious syncretism involves the blending of different religious beliefs and practices. In ancient Rome, syncretism was common, with Roman religion incorporating elements from conquered cultures. This blending often resulted in new deities or altered forms of worship. Syncretism reflects cultural exchange and adaptation in religious contexts. Philosophical shifts significantly impacted the evolution of Roman values. Changing philosophical landscapes led to transformations in Roman societal norms and beliefs. Roman values underwent considerable changes due to the influence of diverse philosophical schools. The adoption and adaptation of Greek philosophy played a crucial role in reshaping Roman thought. Philosophical schools provided frameworks for understanding ethics, politics, and the nature of reality in Roman society. The evolving philosophical landscape shaped Roman law, governance, and individual conduct. Roman art evolved significantly, reflecting the societal changes within the Roman Empire. Early Roman art was heavily influenced by Etruscan and Greek styles, particularly in sculpture and architecture. The Roman adoption of concrete revolutionized architecture, enabling the construction of vast and complex structures. Imperial Roman art emphasized grandeur and propaganda, glorifying emperors and military victories. The shift from Republican realism to imperial idealism in portraiture reflected the changing political landscape. Roman literature reflects the historical and cultural context of the Roman Empire. The evolution of Roman literature mirrored the rise and eventual decline of the Roman Empire. Early Roman literature focused on practical matters and the establishment of Roman identity. Later, Roman literature explored themes of decadence, political instability, and moral decay. Literary trends in the late Roman Empire reflect a society grappling with internal contradictions and external pressures. Roman law significantly influenced the administration and governance of the Roman Empire. The evolution of Roman law played a crucial role in shaping legal systems in many modern countries. Roman law provided a structured framework for governance, contributing to the empire's stability and expansion. Key components of Roman law included civil law, criminal law, and procedural law, each serving distinct functions. Roman legal principles, such as innocent until proven guilty, continue to influence legal thought and practice today. The codification of Roman law, such as the 12 Tables, aimed to provide clear and accessible legal standards for all citizens. The Romans undertook ambitious infrastructure projects that significantly shaped their empire. Roman roads facilitated trade, communication, and military movement across vast distances. Aqueducts provided a reliable water supply to urban centers, supporting population growth and public health. Roman bridges enabled the crossing of rivers and gorges, connecting disparate regions and promoting unity. These infrastructure projects had a long-term impact, influencing subsequent engineering and urban planning. The scale and durability of Roman infrastructure reflect the empire's power, organization, and engineering prowess. Roman urban planning emphasized organized spatial layouts and functional infrastructure. The grid system, or cardo and decumanus, facilitated efficient city management and expansion. Public spaces like forums and bathhouses served as central hubs for social and political life. Aqueducts provided fresh water, while sewer systems managed waste, contributing to public health. Standardized building designs and materials ensured structural integrity and aesthetic consistency. Roman urban planning principles influenced subsequent city designs throughout history. The fall of the Roman Empire resulted from a confluence of interconnected factors. Economic instability, including inflation and excessive taxation, weakened the empire's foundations. Political corruption and ineffective leadership eroded public trust and administrative efficiency. Military overextension and barbarian invasions strained resources and territorial control. These factors, acting in concert over time, led to the empire's eventual collapse and long-term consequences.